Hey everyone, Zell here, and today we're going to be looking at a 2.1.2 build for Demon Hunters that is based around cold damage and cluster arrows. It's a very effective, very competitive build. A lot of people use it and are very effective with it. This guide is for people who are getting into Demon Hunters for the first time or have a Demon Hunter and just want to catch up in Season 2 and just go to town with damage. So let's get started. What's the first thing that we're going to need for this build? The Marauder 6-piece set. If you don't know what it does, it has 3 bonuses, all which are very, very helpful. The 2-piece allows you to have all pets out when you have Companion. And then also that means that when you use your active, all the pets' actives go off instead of just one. The 4-piece allows your sentries to cast hatred spenders that you cast when you cast them, which is very, very effective for this build. And the 6-piece is your generators. Elemental Arrow and Cluster Arrow specifically deal 100% more damage for every sentry active on the field. And this means that it can go up to 500% additional damage on primarily your Cluster Arrows, what you're looking at. And it just starts ripping things apart so easily. Doesn't matter if the sentries are far away from you or close to you, they will still increase the damage. However, you do want them to be shooting off your hatred spender, so being within vicinity is always helpful. Now, what are the pieces that we're looking for? We're looking for every piece except for the helmet. There are better helmets, which I'll explain later on, but we're going to be wanting the shoulders and the chest piece, the gloves, the leggings, and then also the boots. For the shoulders, you want cooldown reduction on them. They already come with resource cost reduction, and the other things that you want are just, tankiness and also dexterity, which they come with. For the chest piece and also leggings, same thing. They're all tank. They already have their extra gem slots, so you can put dexterity into those. For the gloves, they're your damage output. You want critical hit damage, you want critical hit chance, and you want either resource cost reduction or cooldown reduction. Either one that you can get are fine. I find that the cooldown reduction is more helpful in certain occasions until you have a lot of resource cost reduction at once. And we're going to talk about different ways to boost those numbers up here in a second too. For your treads, you want cluster arrow damage on it. It's supremely helpful and just so synergetic with the build. Then every other thing on your boots are going to be tanky. For your Bombardier's Rucksack, which is the legendary quiver you're going to want to use, it gives you 2 additional sentries, which means 200% additional damage on your cluster arrow, but not only that, but 2 additional sentries throwing your hatred spenders out at the same time, which is absolutely amazing. You're going to want to get cluster arrow damage on these as well, and if you can get resource cost reduction on them too, that would be more helpful than the lead damage or defensive traits that you can also pick up on these. Of course, it comes with attack speed and also critical hit chance, so you don't have to worry about getting those to roll on it. However, they might not roll good. Better rolls are always better. The other thing we're going to be looking for is a Ring of Royal Grandeur. We always want a socket on it, and that's ring in particular gives us our 6-piece bonus when we have only 5 pieces of the Marauder set. So that's why we're using that, and of course, if you can get more damaging traits on your rings, the better. Rings and amulets aren't usually used for tankiness, so don't really worry about it. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's better off that way. The last required piece is going to be the Reaper's Wraps. These allow us to bring in more resources when we pick up a health globe, which allows us to cast more cluster arrows, which allows us to do more damage without having the downtime that we normally would have. It's supremely helpful. What we're going to be looking for on these is cold damage percentage, critical hit chance, and then dexterity and a tanky stat on them. We're going to go with all the required items that way, and let's look at the optional items. We're going to be having 2 different crowns we're going to be looking at. The first one, Leorc's Crown, the second one, Pride's Fall. I find that Pride's Fall is supremely helpful, especially in group play, because nothing touches you. But if you are a little bit more of a sloppy player and get hit occasionally like I do, you're going to want to go with the Leorc's Crown because it gives you 25% base cooldown reduction at maximum, which is always going to be helpful because you're able to use your preparation and also your companion call more often, which brings your hatred back up to a steady level. That's what I really like about it. So, if you can get a good group, Pride's Fall is the way to go. Or if you're like that perfect precision player and never get hit, Pride's Fall is the way to go. You're going to want to have a socket on it. You're going to want to have critical hit chance on it, and you're going to want cluster arrow damage on it as well. Dexterity is the other thing that you're going to want on it, and then that is the perfect helmet. You can get, one of those off, but, you always want to know the best stats you can so you don't flub up if you have the chance to get them. And as I said, Leorc's Crown is usually better for solo gameplay unless you're that perfect player. The other things we're going to be looking at is amulets, and amulets, the Hellfire Amulet, if you could get a good passive with good stats on it, is the best thing you can get, hands down. But that's a really hard thing to do. And the 2 other amulets that you're looking for, which are rare but not as rare as a good Hellfire Amulet, are going to be the Countess Julia's Cameo or the Zephyrian Amulet, and that will either bring out Jailer from the equation when you're doing combat or Thunderstorm, both of which are really pesky for Demon Hunters, especially with how fragile you play. For rings, we're going to be looking at the Unity and Stone of Jordan. The Unity is for greater risk when you just can't be taking any damage, and if you do get hit, it allows you to maybe not proc your awareness or maybe not die. And then your Stone of Jordan increases your cool damage and also your elite damage, which means that you can shred apart the harder things in the Rift much, much quicker. So that's pretty much what we're looking at for the rings and amulets. Of course, getting sockets on these are very much necessary. I'll be talking about gems in a second. And getting good damaging stats on your amulets are good as well. They're on the sheet on the left that you can take a look at. For belts, we're going to be looking at the Witching Hour, which is the best in slot. Get a good Witching Hour, you're set. Perfect. If you can't do that, a good Vigilante belt is going to be nice for the extra cooldown reduction, which will allow you to bring your resources up quicker. And then the last item, which if you can't get anything, and you can also craft this item, is the Fleeting Strap. It has attack speed, which is a way to get your resources up quicker because you're able to shoot off your evasive fire with focus on it quicker, which, you know, just brings up your hatred like nobody's business. So that's for the optional items and the required items. Let's get over to weapons and also gems. So the best weapon you can get for this build in solo gameplay is the Atreyu. It has additional cold damage on it, and that is a massive boost on a weapon, especially if you can get a good ancient one. You want percent damage on it, preferably. Resource cost reduction is really nice. You want a good dexterity roll, you want high damage. And then also you can always put a socket on it through a gift, so you never want to have a natural socket on it and then use it that way. So that's what you're looking for. The other weapons are going to be the Arcane Barb. It's craftable, you can get a decent ancient out of it. It's going to be a great place to start. The other bows are going to be the Calamity, which is the best thing for group gameplay, but you only want one Demon Hunter to have it, because what it does is it puts marks for death on everything that you touch. That's 20% increased damage from all sources, meaning that it's from your party or you, so it beats out the Atreyu in that respect. The other two bows are the Leonine Bow of Hashir and the Crider Shot. The Leonine Bow allows you to use bolas in a different manner, and then the Crider Shot allows you to use Elemental Arrow instead of Evasive Fire for extra damage from your sentries as well. But I still don't feel the Crider Shot is going to be better than a good Atreyu. So those are going to be the weapons. And then going on to gems, the Bane of the Trap and Efficacious Toxin have something in similar, where if you have one in the party, you don't need another one. So they're both really good. The Bane of the Trapped allows you to do more damage if anything is going to be CC'd, which you're going to be CCing things through your sentries and also through what you're doing. Not only that, but the Efficacious Toxin gives you a flat 10% increased damage on anything you touch, which is a really nice effect. However, if you have already one person in the party with these, those are out of the question. And you're going to want some other things as secondary gems. Bane of the Powerful is really helpful in Torment 6, and also just in Greater Risk, where you're able to plug across the elites and just kill them really quickly. A lot of increased damage. The Zay's Stone of Vengeance is a really cool stone. Depending on where you are or your sentries are from, they're independent. They're going to be doing more damage. So if you're close to the target, keeping it around you, and your sentries are far away, your sentries are going to do massive damage, while you're going to be doing a little bit less damage. But since there's so many more sentries, it's going to make up for it. The last gem that you could possibly put on is a Pain Enhancer or a defensive gem. But if you're looking for damage, Pain Enhancer is the way to go. And then finally, some people do talk about the Enforcer Pet gem. It's no good anymore. Please don't put that on your stuff. It does not work. Your sentries don't do damage anymore. At least their base damage. They don't do anything. They're to allow you to shoot more cluster arrows off. Now on to skills. Your click skills are going to be Evasive Fire with Focus, because it allows you to regenerate hatred so quickly. And then if you have a Crider Shot, the Elemental Arrow with Frost Arrow, and if you have your Leonine Bow of Hashir, you can go with your Bowls with Freezing Strike. Your main damage source is going to be Cluster Arrow with Maelstrom, because it shoots out a lot of different projectiles, your missiles, and also it heals you when you do hit targets with it. The last thing you should bind onto, maybe a middle mouse or something else, you need to bind it to something, is Force Move. I can't talk about it enough. Force Move is so good. You need it. It's absolutely helpful. It will save you from death multiple times. Going on to your bar skills and then also your passives, the main thing that you're using is Sentry with Polar Turret. You're plopping it down everywhere. It's increasing your damage by a large percentage from your Marauder set, and it's absolutely amazing. The other things you're going to be using is Preparation with Punishment, so you can get Hatred Regeneration, and then your Companion for the increased damage off the Wolf, the increased toughness off the Boar, and also the increased Resource Regeneration off the Bat mods of that. So it's really, really helpful. The defensive stats you're going to be using is going to be Vault with Tumble or Smoke Screen with Lingering Fog. Only one of them though. Vault with Tumble allows you to move down really quickly if you're precise with it. You can do amazing things with it and gets you out of a lot of trouble. Smoke Screen with Lingering Fog allows you to dodge a lot of abilities though, and it allows you to be more tanky, and allows you to just ignore a lot of different status effects when you're using it. And I think that is preferred for people getting into the game, while Tumble is a little bit more group gameplay when everything is locked down from a 0 DPS Witch Doctor, or when you're very, very confident in what you're doing. For your passives, you're looking at Custom Engineering, Ballistics, Kill the Weak, and Awareness. Awareness is a great second life. It's a cheat death that works amazingly well. The Kill the Weak procs off your sentry turrets, and then that is a lot of extra damage. Your Ballistics is going to be doing a ton for your Maelstrom because you have so many missiles coming off of it. And then also your Custom Engineering gives you an additional turret, which sentry, which is absolutely fantastic. However, if you do have an Hellfire Amulet with one of those on that, or if you have a Hellfire Amulet with either Archery, Blood Vengeance, or Steady Aim, very, very helpful traits to have. And that's pretty much all the different things you need for this build, and hopefully I helped you guys out a little bit with that. So that is the Cold Damage Cluster Arrow Demon Hunter wrapped up with all the different things you need. I can put some stuff down below if you just want to read through it at a different time instead of watching the entire video. Hopefully the gameplay allowed you to see how you played a little bit and understand the gameplay a little bit more, so you're always popping down your turrets, especially when you go into a door. When you enter a level, just pop down your turrets because it gets you some additional damage even if you're not going to be hitting anything with it, because by the time you get to something, by that time you're able to put down another turret. Other things that you're looking for is if you can keep your turrets further away with a Zay Stone. It's great if you're not running a Zay Stone. All that you're going to be doing is plopping your turrets right on the targets, so you get the Cold the Weak proc immediately, and also the Bane of the Trapped proc immediately, and it's very helpful for that. And if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them down below. If you have comments, feel free to leave one of those too on whatever it may be. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you did enjoy the video. If you want to, feel free to subscribe or hit me up on Twitter or join a Facebook group or whatever social media thing that I have out there. And also, if you do want to just hang out, shoot the shit, or whatever it might be, I play games on twitch.tv quite often, so you can always stop by and see what I'm doing there, be it Diablo, be it another game. I play quite a few different games on there, but I have been sticking to a lot of Diablo recently, and yeah, so once again, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.